The Monk and the Mirror. In a small, serene monastery nestled in the mountains, there lived a monk named Revata. Known for his unshakable calmness, Revata was admired by the villagers for his wisdom and composure. However, he had not always been so serene. His peace was the fruit of a profound lesson he had learned years ago. When Revata was a novice monk, he was deeply troubled by people's opinions. The slightest criticism would upset him, and he often sought validation to feel worthy. One day, during a village ceremony, a merchant scoffed at Revata's simple robe, saying, "A monk who can't even afford better clothing. What wisdom can he offer?" Though he remained silent, Revata's heart burned with shame. That night, he approached his master, the wise and aged monk Daira. "Master," he said, "why do people's words pierce me so deeply? How can I silence their voices in my mind?" Daira smiled and said, "Meet me at the edge of the forest tomorrow at sunrise. Bring a mirror with you." The next morning, Revata met Daira as instructed. The master handed him a bucket filled with mud. "Smear this mud on the mirror," Daira said. Confused, Revata obeyed, covering the reflective surface until it was completely obscured. "Now, hold it up and tell me what you see," Daira instructed. "Nothing but mud," Revata replied. "Exactly," Daira said. "This mirror is your mind. When you allow the words and judgments of others to stick to you, they cloud your clarity. You can no longer see your true self." "But how do I stop the mud from sticking?" Revata asked. Daira dipped a cloth into a stream and wiped the mirror clean. "By understanding that the mud is not yours to keep," he said. "People's opinions are like the mud. They belong to them, not to you. If you let them, they will obscure your inner peace. But if you refuse to hold on to them, they cannot stain you." Revata pondered his master's words for weeks. He began observing how quickly people's opinions changed. One day, he was praised for his humility. The next, he was criticized for being too quiet. Slowly, he realized the futility of seeking approval. One day, while meditating by the river, he noticed the water flowing over the rocks. No matter how much mud or dirt was thrown into it, the river remained clear because it never held onto the dirt. It simply let it pass. From that moment, Revata decided to live like the river. Whenever someone's words reached him, he reminded himself, "These words are not mine. I do not need to carry them." Years later, Revata's peace became so unshakable that even the harshest criticism or loudest praise could not disturb him. One day, the same merchant who had mocked him years ago came to the monastery seeking guidance. He asked Revata, "How do you remain so unaffected by what people say?" Revata smiled and handed him a small, polished mirror. "What do you see?" "My reflection," the merchant said. "Indeed," Revata replied. "The mirror reflects everything but holds onto nothing. Be like the mirror. Let others see themselves in you, but do not let their opinions define you." The merchant bowed, understanding the lesson. From that day on, Revata's story spread throughout the region, inspiring countless people to free themselves from the burden of others' opinions. And as Revata walked through the village, his calm demeanor was a silent reminder. True peace comes from within, not from the voices of others.